tremendous looking trophy.
Hello, welcome to my PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Tom Blunt. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here in a week of change, or upcoming change, announced change. Right at the top.
Right. Yeah, announced change. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, fair enough. So it's been I feel like it's been a very long time since this opening news story, and I'm pretty sure it's because it happened like right after we recorded, or like the next day after last week.
Yep.
So
In classic PlayStation style.
in classic PlayStation fashion, Jim Ryan waited until we finished recording Platt, and then was like, "I'm retiring, motherfuckers."
One last time, we're going to get those picks.
Yeah, one last time I'm going to fuck with those Platinum Explosion boys. So yes, reading from Press Start, let's jump into it. Sony Interactive Entertainment has revealed that Jim Ryan, longtime president and CEO, has decided to retire in March 2024, almost 30 years with PlayStation. Sony Group Corporation's president Hiroki Totoki will be taking the role of chairman of SIE starting on October 2023 to support Ryan's exit, and will be made interim CEO of SIE starting April 1st, 2024, until the company decides on a more permanent successor. Quote, after 30 years, I've made a decision to retire from SIE in March 2024. I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with great people and incredible partners, but I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. PlayStation will always be part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than I ever have about the future of SIE. I want to thank Yoshida-san for placing so much trust in me and being an incredible, sensitive, and supportive leader. And then from Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said, Jim Ryan has been an inspirational leader throughout his entire period with us, but never more so than overseeing the launch of the PlayStation 5 in the midst of a global COVID pandemic. The extraordinary achievement made by the entire SIE team has been steadily built upon, and PlayStation 5 is on track to become SIE's most successful console yet. I'm immensely grateful to Jim for all his achievements. Respecting Jim's decision to finish his long career at Sony leaves me with an important decision regarding his succession, given the significance of the games and network services business. We have discussed intensively and have determined the new management structure. We aim to achieve Sony Group's further evolution and growth through bringing even greater success to the game and network services business. What were your thoughts when you saw old mate Jim had left last week?
Yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere, right? There was kind of no inkling that this was on the horizon or anything. It just, bam, guess what? I'm out, motherfuckers. It's like, but I guess it's kind of an interesting place for him or timing to retire, where it's for us on the outside, it looks like PlayStation's kind of going through this internal transition where Jim Ryan's come in and gone, hey, this games as service thing, that's the future of games. Let's just push a bunch of these into production. As soon as he came in as CEO or whatever, and now as people have started to turn on, he's like, psych, I'm out. PlayStation, deal with this problem. Not going to blame me. So,
well, yeah, pretty much.
That's my kind of read on the entire thing. Funnily.
What have you thought about the reaction? When you think about people who announce they're leaving in the games industry as of late, I don't say I've ever seen someone get as many hooray or yeah. What do you think of that?
Yeah, clearly a pretty divisive person. To say the least. It's just he was never very customer forward. You know what I mean? He wasn't a public face of the company other than what was completely necessary. Obviously didn't endear himself very much any point during his tenure. Even when he was initially put in the position, I don't think there was much happiness around seeing the like Shuhei move into a lesser position and Sean Layden moved on and that kind of stuff. And then he made the cat comments during the pandemic.
Yeah, so
like, trying to make light
I'm
of something.
Put a pin in that for a second. I had a follow up from the Bloomberg article around their follow up article that Shire wrote amongst the reaction and why people may have acted that way. Where is it? Yet Ryan's 4-year tenure was also marred by controversy, in part because of his tendency to lift up his foot and insert it into his mouth. Blah, 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 blah. Perhaps his biggest fluff came in 2022, just after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Rather than take a stance on the abortion rights as some staff would have had hoped, Ryan wrote that, quote, "We owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences of opinion among everyone in our internal and external communications," end quote. As we reported at the time, he went off to tell a goofy story about his cats and his desire to get a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
They continue to say here, and this is the thing. People are... There is definitely talk about mistakes. Yes.
Yep.
But the fact is, as I say, as Bloomberg writes here, communication mistakes aside, Ryan's 4-year tenure as boss of PlayStation had mixed results. The PlayStation 5 has sold more than 40 million units, more than that of rival Xbox, if not at quite a rapid clip as the previous PlayStation 4. The console was hampered for years due to COVID-related supply issues. It has seen a handful of well-reviewed exclusives such as Demon's Souls and Final Fantasy 16. It's definitely he has had a weird time. But his major win is the fact that PlayStation 5 is killing it as far as console, the quote unquote console wars. If you just go off numbers sold, they continue saying, although it doesn't feel like a next generation video games, blah blah blah. Over the last 2 years, Ryan has overseen a PlayStation shift towards games as service, a popular industry buzzword referring to video games, usually multiplayer, that can be monetized over longer periods of times. It's been an uncomfortable pivot for some of Sony's studios, which have spent the last decade building out teams of experienced developers to make big cinematic adventure games that are played solo. Game development teams that spend years working together tend to cultivate a certain style, often making a drastic pivot from a familiar genre to something brand new can have a disastrous result. Just ask the developers of Anthem. Games as service are particularly difficult to create as they require a formula that gets gamers to consistently play over longer periods of time, which is a very different ask than a single story. They talk about here as well. Earlier last year, Ryan helmed Sony's acquisition of Destiny maker Bungie, one of the top service game developers in the world, in hopes of accelerating this pivot. But it took Bungie decades to develop the teams, technology, and production pipelines that have made Destiny successful. And even so, they've had some serious growing pains along the way. Even Bungie's expertise has not yet been able to turn PlayStation Studios into a service game factory. A few years ago, service games were the hottest thing in the industry, but now even the sensation Fortnite isn't making as much money as it once did. Of course, hinting about the Epic Games mass layoff of staff, which we talked about in Arcade Couch, released on Monday. This bet on multiplayer games may not pay off for the way Ryan and his team once hoped. Yeah. I don't think he's lying when he's saying that the travel...
it's too much.
It's too much. But at the same time, I reckon part of it is also... I don't think his Sony is shaping out the way he had hoped. Yeah. Because his vision for Sony, and we've seen it since the day he came in, has been this...
We're going to make a bunch of GTA Onlines. We're going to make a bunch of Fortnites, and then we're going to be set.
Yeah. And he's struggled to get that off the ground.
Well, to be fair, 4 years isn't exactly enough time to get that off the ground.
He thought he could do it.
Yeah. Well, I suspect when he took on the job, he thought he'd be in it longer.
Possibly,
And in that time period, there was an entire pandemic.
Yeah,
but obviously he oversaw the launch of the PS5, most successful console all time launch. I want to say all time, pretty high. So he's got that to hang his hat on for the rest of his retirement, I guess. So choosing to retire before the PlayStation Portal comes out. Interesting decision, yeah. It's true. That could be a thing, yeah. I definitely think there is an element of I personally have not been the biggest fan of his decisions. I've talked about them as such on this podcast, and yet at the same time, I do think there's a line between saying that and also some of the weird tribalistic responses I've seen to him leaving. Almost like Fuck
It's
this
like
guy.
a captain changing in a sports team thing. You know, I don't know, like
I think it's more like a coach being fired. Say,
coach. Yeah, all right, a coach being fired and like a new coach being brought on for your favorite team, sort of thing. Because I've seen a lot of like PlayStation hardcore, quote unquote, PlayStation fans like cheering for this. Like it's this, yeah. Now our team can finally be can be win, and I'm like, but we're already
we're already
winning.
winning.
So I
We can
don't
win
get
more.
it.
We
Yeah,
can win in the way we want to win.
yeah,
We can play a different style of football.
yeah. I mean, I've missed Sean Layden because Sean Layden, I think, at least like his style of running PlayStation and what he cared about, which was more indie games and stuff. That was more in line with my own personal feelings. So, and I've missed him,
with Jim
you know?
Ryan, it always felt like he didn't really care what the players actually
No, well,
wanted.
he's
Like
he's a
he did not-
marketing dude through and through. Like
yeah,
it
always felt like
marketing
he
dude,
thought he
like-
knew better than
yeah.
the audience.
And he's always said stuff like that. Being like, people don't care about playing backwards compatibility games. You know, people don't give a shit about games preservation. You know, all this sort of stuff you'd throw around that we've talked about over the years. All these comments and people would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like,
Sure,
you know?
you're mostly true, but you don't say it.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see
Who they get.
if they're going to step
'Cause they're-
someone up.
From memory, the person coming back into the role of president was the president before Jim Ryan, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
I want to say he was president of Sony, and then was like, "Oh, I'm going to step back into a lesser role involving network stuff because that's shit. So we need somebody to look at that."
Yeah.
And then Jim Ryan got promoted into that position.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Well, I can't remember the whole backwards and forth with fucking what's his name? I know Tanner. No, fuck, whatever his name is. I can't remember the whole backwards and forth with his position. Yoshida, sorry, his whole. But yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, he's been at PlayStation for as long as I've been alive. Sony, he joined Sony in 2013, Deputy Chief Financial Officer, was promoted to Chief Financial CFO. No. Yeah, he's been at Sony, but like he succeeded Kaz. But yeah, okay. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they get. I don't know. Like, people have been throwing around, like, does Herman Hulse get moved up? But I'm like, that's pretty fucking fast. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you probably, in my mind, you get a business focused person in that role, and
you've got to have a business focused person. Obviously, like, there's an element of that, but I do feel like there's different. Like, his focus, as we found out, Jim Ryan's focus has been like his focus has been completely different to someone like a Sean Layden's, but
yeah,
they both ultimately are good at their jobs in different ways. They're both business focused people, but it's not going to be Shuhei. That's not a thing.
I know people are pushing for it. There's shirts that say "Shoot for President."
Not a thing.
Yeah, he has no interest whatsoever. I would imagine.
No,
in that role,
I suspect
he likes his job. It will be someone from below brought up into the role.
It'll be someone we've never heard of, and we'll be googling them, going, "Oh, they've been at."
Maybe
Sony
it's the lady from the last State of Play.
Could be.
It's like,
Sean
we're going to test this out.
Whatever. Sure. Why not? I mean, we'll make up for Sean Layden's.
Whoever they get, I hope they are obviously work out this games and service stuff.
Cancel it all.
At least put it out. see what sticks. But more importantly, like, they go back to featuring more live events.
Yeah, live events, bigger focus.
Do you know there is no PlayStation presence at PAX Australia this year?
I'm well aware.
That's ridiculous.
I know. And that's Jim Ryan's fault.
Yeah, it's Jim Ryan's fault, and that's why we're all happy he's retiring.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's move on. PlayStation Plus games for October have been revealed. This month, you can play as of October 3rd. So that's the day that this The day before the spot. They're out by the time this is out.
Yeah.
Time's a blur. I don't know. We're recording a day early, so I'm fucking confused. The Callisto Protocol, PS4, PS5, Farming Simulator 22 on your PS4 and your PS5, and Weird West on the PS4 and PS5. What do you reckon about this month's games, Ash? What stands out? Anything you care about?
It's a concerning trend that, again, one of the games is from a studio that had to do a bunch of layoffs
It's true.
just prior to the announcement. So I would be concerned for whoever's making deals with PlayStation for November.
Writing's on the wall.
Because, comes in threes. But yeah, I mean, solid month. Like, Callisto Protocol, that's a fitting title for this time of the year, I would imagine. Weird
October,
West. Yeah, Weird West. Did you review that game? I can't remember. It was that or something else?
No, I'm pretty sure.
So
if we reviewed it, I feel like it was a Will thing, maybe. I can't remember.
You did like a Western game, though, right?
I did a West game, but it wasn't this one. But
no, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really good when the website's done because we'll be actually searching.
Yeah, we'll find stuff. Yeah. And then Farming Simulator, Okay.
I love farms.
I mean, farming. I
appreciate them. Farmers.
I don't think this is the farming sims that people actually want.
Well, no, people want the.
There's no romancing options in this farming sim, as far as I'm aware.
No, but people do love these farming games.
No, they do, but it's not the farming sim genre that we all know.
No,
it's not.
I don't think I don't know if there's a crossover audience between Stardew Valley and those types of games and actual farming games. I just don't think there's an actual crossover there. It'd be funny if there was, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Callisto Protocol, cool. Means I might trade in my copy now, I guess. I don't know. I never actually started it. Actually, did I buy it? I feel like I did buy it, never start it. Sounds like a thing I'd do. Maybe it's still in plastic. Sit next to Elden Ring.
Could be.
Good for it. Weird West does look fun, though. Tactical action RPG, so I was keen on that. Never got around to playing it, so I can get down. But my pick for the month will probably be Callisto Protocol. Horror game, October. Yeah. But what's your pick?
Yeah, it's probably Weird West. So yeah, Weird West, 8 out of 10 from the Explosion Network.
Who reviewed it?
Explosion Network.
Yes, I haven't updated. I have to go back and look at the. Well, no, because Explosion Network's currently set to anyone who hasn't fixed on the website. By the way, if you're like, what are they talking about? The website fixed. A, check out explosionnetwork.com. B, listen to Arcade Couch Between the Cushions.
Woof.
What?
Yeah. No, just all the sidebars all messed up and everything. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because the review hasn't been fixed. It wouldn't have been reformatted. I don't have enough. There's not the time, Ash. I don't know how many hands.
No, I thought it was just the article that was going to be, but it's like everything.
No, I don't know. Anyway, all right, moving on. Gran Turismo, sport, always online game, games of service, love it. Shout out to
Concept.
Shout out to the concept, and shout out to Jim Ryan. Anyway, the game's shutting down. VG247 writes, another day, another game shutting down its online services, this time racing game Gran Turismo Sport. Earlier this week, developer Polyphony Digital released a statement confirming that come January 31st, 2024, you'll no longer be able to use any of the online functionality in Gran Turismo Sport. The post also notes that prior to December 1st of this year, all DLC will be delisted. Many if you want to pick up any of its to best do so now. Quote, after the end of service date, it will no longer be possible to utilize online services such as the community open lobby and sport mode, nor online features, items such as custom liveries, end quote. The offline, and then continuing, the offline portions of the game can still be played, including purchases and odds. The thing that isn't particularly clear from the statement is that it's outright impossible to save the game unless you're connected to the internet. With online functionality going down, it isn't clear if you'll be able to make any progression in the game, though in a FAQ section on the statement, it does seem to imply that you can continue to unlock cars through career mode, but the wording still doesn't make it clear how saving will work past the online portion of the game being shut down. Trophy hunters might also want to get into the game as soon as they can, as, quote, selected trophies that require an online connection will no longer be accessible, end quote, which is obviously quite irritating for the completionists out there. So Gran Turismo Sport was released in 2017. No, and it's not that I'm like online service shutting down isn't a
Common
is a
thing.
crazy concept. Like that's a thing or whatever. But it is that thing as time moves forward and more and more games that are fully online shut down. You're like, you do start to slowly realize just how ridiculous it is that, you know, what if you've like you just can't play the game now? Like, well, you can, but it won't save because it was set up to only work online for the saving. Like, is that not just dumb? You know?
I mean, for a game that could have been single player and not require this, yes.
Yes.
Of course, we don't know what stuff on the back end. Like, I don't remember enough Gran Turismo Sport to be like, was this a feature or not? Like, was it a thing that like there was going to be online leaderboards and all this other stuff that they were trying to protect, like balking and stuff from? But yeah, from the outset, it's like, oh, it's weird that, you know, you can't play it anymore. But, you know, this is a common thing for any multiplayer game. There is, if you get invested in a multiplayer game, there is a chance this game will go away and you won't be able to play it anymore. So, that is just the world we live in now.
You have such good takes on, you know, really caring.
I mean, we live in a world where Horizon titles disappear from the Xbox platform like every few years, right? Because all the licenses get removed.
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the thing.
Oh, that's the music license shit, though.
And vehicle licenses, I'm pretty sure.
Vehicle licenses, yeah.
So.
The last one that got announced for that was Horizon 3. And I think that was last year. And I brought it because of that. Because it was like $10 to buy an Xbox. And that's the Australian one. They were like, hey, buy it now or else it's getting delisted. And that was because of the soundtrack or whatever. Which, again, is a whole weird thing we live in where games can just... And to a degree, this is the thing of like, if we go old, like if that game was only digital, it just means that it would gone, you know. But it was a game where there was physical copies, so like any physical copy you find in the world, like if you own it, you're good. Secondhand copy, you're good. You know what I mean? Like you still play it, it's still out there. It's just they had to take it off the digital store.
Yeah.
But if we was living in this age where people want where there's no digital, no physical, there's only digital games. That's just like the game disappears. It's gone. If you own it, you can re-download it, but no one can buy it anymore. You can't trade your digital copy of a game to someone else or a friend. Good shit. Sarcasm. It's not actually good shit. Press Start writes, Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition is coming to PS5 and PC. PlayStation has announced the next game not only be getting the Complete Edition treatment, but also the next big first-party game coming to PC. And it's none other than Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition will include the base game as well as the Burning Shores DLC, as well as the digital soundtrack, digital art book, and a bunch of in-game items. It'll be a full-price release and will be released on PS5 on October 5th and in early 2024 for PC as well. The PC version is being developed by Nixxes, who had previously developed Insomniac's PC ports, including Spider-Man Remastered, Spider-Man Miles Morales Remastered, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. What's included fully? Horizon Forbidden West PS5, Burning Shores DLC for PS5, digital soundtrack, digital art book, Horizon Zero Dawn Volume 1, the Sun Hawk digital comic book, in-game items, extras in photo mode, special pose and face paint, in-game items unlocked via story progression, Karja Behemoth's elite outfit, Karja Behemoth's short bow, Nora Thunder elite outfit, Nora Thunder sling, Apex Claw Strider machine strike piece, and a fucking resource pack.
Oh yeah.
That's a game break. That's the game breaker there. That's going to change the way you play this game, I reckon. That resource pack really going to blow your socks off. Yeah, cool. Did you ever play the I can't remember. Did you?
I never finished the DLC.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You reckon I'm a fake PlayStation fan?
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like I got like halfway. I discovered there's a ship. And that was where I stopped.
Good one. I'm allowed to talk about spoilers for this now, right? Like it's PlayStation podcast. I feel it's been out long enough.
We already talked about how she's gay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Good. I was about to say, do you remember that when that was such a hot thing for like a hot topic of discussion for a week there, where fucking
then we all moved on with our lives like normal people.
Well, like normal people, but I just like reading through it. I just had memories where there's a stage there where I just like typed in because I saw Twitter. At the time, it was Twitter, right? Where people like would post screenshots of certain videos of like fuckhead white boys and whatever going off about it and stuff like
Yep.
that. And I'm like, there cannot be that many videos. So I just like typed in burning shores to YouTube one night as I was laying in bed, and there was like you just scroll through and it's all these like clickbaity articles like SJW ruined game and all this sort of shit. I was like, wow, it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, what a wild world. So keen for that to come into PC next year. More people can play it. Good for them. And it'll look good. Don't you? And it's Nix's, so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be a buggy.
It should
port.
not be Last of Us.
Yes, Nix's are doing the good ports, and the other ones are getting fucked.
So, yeah. I would be interested. Is it going to be cheaper to buy this as a complete edition or separately?
Surely it's cheaper as a complete edition.
Like on the store, it would be, but like you could probably buy it.
Like, IRL,
cheaper,
yeah. You can probably pick up the game and then buy. It's the same as It was the same as when the game launched. It was cheaper just to buy the PS4 version and then just upgrade than buy the PS5 version.
Because you need to like play the full game before you can play the DLC.
Do you? Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
So, true. All right, final story for the week. Press Start Rights Insomniac has revealed Marvel Spider-Man 2's trophies early, aside from the spoilery ones. We're still a good 3 weeks at the time of writing. But with the game having recently gone gold, Insomniac has taken to social media to post a partial list of trophies for the upcoming and hugely anticipated superhero sequel, Marvel Spider-Man 2. The studios will reveal 25 of the game trophies, presumably omitting the ones that would spoil major parts of the story or the gameplay. There are a couple of lines below do reveal some interesting potential gameplay tidbits. It looks pretty straightforward. Looks like another Spider-Man game. Looks like it'll be an easy, achievable platinum that a lot of people will get. It's like finish the main story, purchase all the gadgets, purchase all the available suits, reach max level, defeat 100 enemies with this ability, defeat enemies of this, complete this mission, solve this thing, equip this, do this fucking mission, do like 100% of the game will be right. Cool. You gonna get the plat?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Assuming it's not like the first game, you didn't need to play it twice. You didn't need to do New Game
Plus.
Plus,
and then you did Game Plus and not. No, you didn't. I don't think.
Not the first one. For the Miles Morales, you did.
Miles Morales, you did, yeah.
Yeah. So as long as you don't do New Game Plus,
is that why you didn't? Is that why you never got the plat for Miles Morales?
No, I did eventually. Like I went back last year or the year before at Christmas time, and like play through the story.
I always find it easier. Those games where it's like you got to do New Game Plus. It's like you do. I just find it so much easier. You do your 30-hour playthrough, 100% of the game, get all trophies by that one, and then because you're just like so in tune, you are one with the game at that point. You just jump straight.
I knew I wanted to save it, Dylan.
Right. Okay.
Because it's a Christmas story, so I could play it at Christmas time.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm thinking about efficiency. You're just thinking about other things.
And then I can re-enjoy the story again.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I skipped all the cutscenes. I always just I just speed run the games when I do New Game Plus. I'm so in focus with the game. Yeah. I'm so good at the game by the time I've got all the other trophies, that like I click New Game Plus, skip all the cutscenes. I'm fucking flying for the game.
Is there anything on this list that you're concerned about?
Nah. Why? Does something stand out to you?
No. I mean, collect 10,000 tech parts. It's probably going to be reasonably easy. Complete all the photo ops. That's, going to be pretty easy as long as I don't have like the hidden ones that they had in the last one. But that wasn't for a trophy. That was...
Yeah.
So...
Sure, be fine.
It's interesting, there's two complete stories. One's called Complete a Gift for the trophy Brooklyn Pride. We assume that's like a...
Miles side mission or something?
Miles focused one, yeah. Then the other one is called Hard Bop. What do you think that's about? Is that music based? You're going to make the Spider-Man soundtrack?
Maybe.
Hard Bop.
Why not? Has to be. What else could it be?
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right.
Are you sure you don't know? You don't have a copy of Spider-Man 2?
No, I don't know because we are not playing Spider-Man 2 currently, just to clarify. Yeah. We are number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanians, and we are not playing Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And clarify, it's not PlayStation's fault. Whose fault is it?
It's PlayStation's fault.
Okay. feel like maybe it's someone's fault for forgetting to ask.
No.
Going,
I
hey,
don't- I
we would
should-
really love a PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 code.
I should not need to ask for these things. They should just come. So no.
We
no
are
one's-
definitely not at that level yet.
And yet, it's what I ask.
And- Okay, cut this out and put it on the email. Send this back to PR. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this week on Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanians. Let us know any comments, questions, concerns you've had about this week's episode. Any of them, you can do that by joining our Discord. Talk to us over there. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord takes you there. ExplosionNetwork.com/Twitter takes you to our X pages. Tweet at any of us over there. And if you'd like to support the show and/or the website, ExplosionNetwork.com, you can do that by heading to our Ko-fi page. A link will take you there. ExplosionNetwork.com/support. And until next week, remember, every trophy counts.
It's crazy to think that this podcast has outlived Jim Ryan as president of Sony or PlayStation.
It's a good point, actually. This podcast started before him,
Yeah.
and now we're going after him. It's a good point. Didn't think about that.